I mean, these are memories, right? Like at the end of it, on senior night, everything is about what they do with their team. These trips right here, come from Stockton all the way down here.
3-4 hour trip.
Exactly. The dinner, the hangout time. Yeah. The games are fun. They love to play the game, but it's all about, creating memories. So for this to be a great experience, knowing your role, because everybody wants to feel productive in life. So, your production, if I try to be 6'10", at 6'2", I'm never going to be happy with my life. But if I know what I'm capable of doing and I'm okay with that, and I be the best version of myself, I'm bringing something to the team, and I play a huge role in that success.
Anthony Matthews, Lincoln basketball coach, boys basketball coach. Yes. My first question for you is this. You were a girls basketball coach before you took over the boys program, yes?
Yes.
Is there any measurable, marked, nuanced difference between coaching boys and coaching girls?
I think there's more parity in boys. I'm not going to lie, girls are probably better listeners than guys are.
What's that?
Girls are better listeners.
I'm kidding. Sorry. It was easy. I had to.
Yeah. No, but boys love sports more, so girls come in, they give you a solid workout, and then as soon as practice is over, it's business, clock in, clock out.
Huh.
They're out of there. Boys, you could pry them. Parents are always trying to get them out of the gym. So their deep love for the game is probably deeper, but men have short attention spans, so that's probably the biggest difference.
Do they grow out of that? Is it just like a frontal lobe issue? We don't get our full frontal lobe until anywhere between 20 and 35?
Right. Like, girls tend to date older men because they're more mature when they're older than when they're younger? I mean, that's the folklore. I definitely. I think focus is always based on passion too. So the more passionate you're about something, the more focused you are, and that goes into small detail as well. Like some people are more focused on offense than defense, but your passion is kind of your focus at that point in time. Your willingness to not want to disappoint somebody. Girls, I think that's where they tend more focused because they're worried about, how they're perceived by the coach. They don't want to disappoint the coach, so they're more locked into what's going on. Boys, they have fun. They enjoy it, and I think it's more fun for them than it is, business minded. So that's why they stick around for hours upon hours, and that's why they don't maybe have the same, laser focus when it comes to, going over drills. But I think anybody can achieve that goal. So,
do you think non-boys just have more focus in general, or is it just the age groups you coach?
Yeah, I think in general. I taught math and science, and it's kind of the same way in the classroom as well. But to each his own, right? There's girls that aren't focused, and there are boys that are super focused. So I don't want to lump everybody into one, but
right.
When a general question of which one's easier or the difference between the two, that I would say that would majority that's the difference.
So you say people follow or tend to be there's a direct ratio between how focused they are and how much they love what they're doing?
I don't think a direct. I do think though that when you want it. We all got a little ADD in us, I think it's like when I see a movie I really want to watch, I'm locked in, I'm watching everything. If I kind of want to watch it, I might play with my phone and, and get side things. I'm still paying attention, but it's probably not the same focus as something like, that I really wanted to see. And so I don't know if boys naturally just kind of, we want to play here, we want to play there. We got our interest in so many different facets that I sometimes think we're not really hunkered down.
What's your focus more as a coach, offense or defense?
I think offense is what I like, but defense is what I'm more focused.
Why is that?
Because defense wins games. At the end of it, I hate losing so much that, because it just leaves an empty feeling in your stomach, that I'm going to do what it takes to win, and defense is, if you have a bad shooting game, which you're going to have, we're human beings. There's no exact science to this, that the defense is always there. If I only scored 21 but I only give up 19, we still get the win.
So defense you can bring out on the road, you can bring out in high-pressure situations. When the ball's not dropping in the hoop, you can always rely on your defense. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you got professional athletes that shoot 40%, and they're the best in the world, So, it's not an exact science scoring. We all want to shoot 100%, but it ain't going to happen. But defense is the one thing, and also, too, it doesn't take a ton of skill to play defense. I mean, there are people that aren't great basketball players, but, you know, it's effort and hustle, and that's the one part you control. So, you know, that's what it takes to be a great defender.
Which would you rather have? Would you rather have somebody who's incredibly skilled or somebody who's to the same ratio incredibly hardworking at this age?
At this age, at the youth age, hardworking. I mean, let's face it, you can't have a bunch of hardworking kids that aren't skilled and get wins at the same time. So
You started 2 freshmen last year, is that correct?
2 years ago.
2 years ago you started 2 freshmen to that point.
Yes.
That came under some scrutiny, did it not?
Yes, it did. But, I mean, I had those kids since they were in 4th grade.
What do you mean you had those kids?
I coached them in club ball.
I see. So you coached them in club ball. Is that when you were coaching as a Bear Creek Girls at the same time? Or?
Yes.
You were coaching Bear Creek Girls, and then you were also coaching club ball boys at the same time?
I was running Port City and coaching.
Okay. And you had them since 4th grade?
Yes.
You knew what they could do? So you saw them develop over time?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like you're pinpointed, that's what you're going to do. They had to earn it. One of my players, my little guard, who probably, you know, but size-wise, you looking at him say, well, why is he playing varsity? And I remember the first tournament we go to, we're playing Sheldon, who's a top program. He doesn't play in the first half. I put him out in the second half. He gets, in his short time, he got about 4 steals, scored 4 points. Like, so those moments right there, you gain people's respect, and he earned his time.
You gain your bosses or your fans' respect, or he gains your respect?
Well, he's always had my respect. You gain more of the team's respect. Because, I mean, at the beginning, at the crux of it, no parent or player wants an underclassman to come in and take their spot.
Right.
But everybody I coach is competitive. They want to win. They want to put the best team out there. So when that person, you know, goes out and proves that they belong to be there, you know, I think that admiration more than mine, because I've been with them so long, means more to the kid, you know. And at that point in time, the kids are like, Coach, he needs to be on the court.
These are calculated gambles, though, because you put someone in a situation and they don't show up, you look like maybe you don't know how to coach as well, and it puts them at a disadvantage next time that situation comes up. They lose confidence. Maybe there's a larger group other than just their teammates, fans, families, who think, hey, they shouldn't be on the court. That's a pressurized situation, yes?
Yeah, but I've coached a lot of these kids, not all of them, but I've coached a lot of them since they were little, so they knew that I believed in them. I mean,
how important is that as a player to know your coach believes in you?
Oh, it's huge, right? Like, I mean, you go in there and you know that I've rode with this guy and we've won a lot of big games, and he believes in what I'm going to do. You know, I mean, if we go to our job and we know that people believe in us and we're not always trying to win their affection,
yeah,
your life's a lot less stressful, you know?
So you are coaching in Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln is in Stockton.
Yeah.
For those people who are not part of Central California or Northern California, don't know California CIF basketball at all, where is Stockton in relation to SoCal, in relation to the San Francisco area ball?
So we're about 4.5 hours away from probably San Fernando Valley or LA. We're 30 minutes away from Sacramento, which is the state's capital. We're south of it, and we're about an hour east of San Francisco. So
is it a hotbed for talent, or do you have to develop it more?
No, it's not a hotbed for talent. In fact, I mean, I think we're more of a baseball, football city. And when I started Port City, girls basketball, because of St. Mary's, they were a national team. Boys is kind of, we weren't on that same respect level. We've turned out good players, don't get me wrong, and we've had some good teams. But I think Port City, we showed that we could produce a lot of talent, not just a couple players here or there.
You started building Port City how long ago?
8 years ago.
From scratch?
From scratch.
Was that a daunting task? Were you more excited about the idea that you have all this white space to create, or are you out there running dirt through your hands thinking, what am I going to do?
No, I mean, once I got a group of people that were behind me, I mean, the thing is like, I don't want to be egotistical, but the thing that I've done that most coaches, I've taken 2 inner city programs in my own town and made them state contenders.
How'd you do that?
Just no one's gonna outwork me. I'm in the gym.
You say you're a 365-day-a-year coach. Confirm or deny?
Confirm. And anybody knows me knows that's true. I practice 3 days a week. I coach 3 practices a day most of the time. I've coached. I mean, I'm 44 years old. I started coaching when I was 20. I've coached over 5,000 games.
It's that whole idea of Kobe. If you practice 3 or 4 times a day over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, no one's ever going to catch you.
Yeah, I just think that I got humble beginnings, and I'd always think everybody's doubting me, so it's just like I'm going to prove everybody wrong.
Why do you say everyone's doubting you?
I don't know. I just don't think I look like the prototypical coach. You know, I walk in the gym. It was funny when I was first real successful in girls coaching. One parent walked in and said, "I want you to walk in the gym and find the guy you think knows the least about basketball."
Yeah.
And that's the guy everybody talks about. And so, I mean, I
extrapolate on that. That's the guy everybody talks about because of what?
Because of how successful I had been.
Do you enjoy? Is that one of your superpowers to be, as they say, misunderestimated?
I mean, I think it keeps you hungry.
Do you like being the underdog in that way? Do you like being hungry in that way?
As a pros and cons, I mean, it's kind of who I am, and I embrace it. But I mean, it's a lot of energy.
Right.
I mean, as you get older, you get a little more tired.
Sure.
But
is that the reason why you work 365 days of the year? Why you coach 3 teams a day, 3 practices a day?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it,
what are you getting at? I guess that's the question I should ask.
Like I said, I like building teams. I like watching players get better. I mean, I'm a small part of this. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm a huge clog in anything. A kid at the end of the day has to do it. You know, I always tell everybody I could send the same message to 100 kids.
Yeah.
And it's going to go 100 different ways. So if I can help people get to the next level, if I could be that vessel, you know, and I'm a competitive junkie, so I like being a part of it. I want to be part of that equation.
When you started Lincoln, you started it with a bit of a headwind. It was not the easiest job to take over. You got talk to us about where the program was at the time when you took it over.
Yeah, they had a decent coach, but they were coming off a bad season.
Yeah.
I didn't inherit. Only had one returning player from that team, and the JV team I would say was 3rd or 4th place in league that year. So everything we kind of got that year was going to be young and inexperienced. I remember talking to the athletic director who hired me. You know, but I had the same issue when I took my first varsity job at McNair Girls, where they were like, "Pump the brakes. We're not very good. It's not going to happen overnight."
To what you said or thought?
That's what they told me, but I'm thinking I didn't come in here to lose. I don't really care what we have. If we got to get in the gym 365 days, that's what we got to do.
So how do you approach that? Do you go back and do a frame-off restoration in terms of fundamentals? Do you coach a different philosophy, or a triangle guy and they haven't seen that before? Like, how do you turn programs around that fast? It's not just time bouncing the ball, or is it?
It's. I mean, you got to be confident in what you do. I feel like whatever we do, I mean, don't get me wrong. Every year there's tweaks and turns, but there's a fundamental, process to what we do, and I've stuck with it. It's not like we come in and right away I win right away.
What is that fundamental process?
Play hard, play fast, play hard, play faster, play harder. But that's the beginning. I would say that's the foundation. But then as we go, we can adapt to anybody's style. We can play a half-court game. We can play a full-court game. We're just going to be tough. That's gritty. I'm gritty, so we're going to outwork you. We're going to play our strengths.
Do teams always reflect the head coach in terms of their energy, their ethos?
I wouldn't say always, but most of the time. I'd say 90% of the time.
And you got your start in basketball how?
Just my dad was a sports writer.
Where? Stockton?
Stockton Record.
Did you tag along with him?
Yeah, since I was a little kid. Football games, wrestling games. I was in locker rooms all the time.
So why aren't you a football coach, wrestling coach?
I don't know. I asked myself that too.
If not for a few sliding doors, would you have been a football coach at Stockton or a wrestling coach, you think? Or is basketball what you're meant to do?
I mean, I love football as much, but I don't know. Basketball is what I'm meant to do.
Why is that?
I don't know. My track record speaks for that, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. It's kind of where I fell into, and I mean, like I said, I enjoy every second of it. I'm grateful to have the opportunity I do, but it's just.
It's not been all easy though. There have been some dark moments.
Yeah, for the most part, it's not been easy. It's hard work. It's a lot of hours, but and it's. I mean, raising a family on top of it,
Has that been the toughest part, or has there been one single moment that you've thought, my God, I don't know if I should be doing this?
I think the family part, because that's probably the more important part. I mean, having kids and having a wife is awesome, and it's that balance is hard because I love my players, and I love the families that I've been able to, interact with through the years. But, like that, anybody knows family. Family's going to be with you for life, and and being able to give them attention the same you give them to a basketball team, that's always been the hardest balance.
You've built some really successful programs as you've gone as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the high point? What's been the thing that you feel like, looking back, if you had to retire now, that would be the thing you would carry with you more than anything else?
That's tough, because I think everything's independent of one itself. Like that's another thing is every program I've taken over, it's its own program. I don't mix the two. Anybody who's been around me, I love to share stories, and I share stories about my players, and use them as examples,
As you're coaching someone new, you tell them about the coach or the player you had last year. Anthony Moore. Hey, Anthony Moore did this when he was in 4th grade, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And so, when I was at McNair, there was, I started at Stagg. I did some great things there when I was really young. Went to St. Mary's.
Did you ever think you were out of your depth at any of those programs, or did you know that's where you were meant to be?
I don't even think I think about that. I think it's one game at a time. I think at that point in time, I'm so focused on beating the person in front of me that I'm not really looking at the big picture.
For people who are trying to balance family with work or balance schoolwork with team, how do you keep your eye on one game at a time, but also paradoxically maybe on the long gaze, on the future, on your family, on a career in basketball, if you're doing one game at a time?
A lot of I always tell everybody my personal life isn't the most extravagant. It's basketball, and then it's a lot of self-reflection, just walking and I mean.
Do you get that from your parents, the self-reflection of it all?
I think probably maybe my dad, because he served in the war. He was real quiet. He had a gift of gab when it came to interviewing people and talking to athletes, but as far as at home, he was really quiet. I don't think I'm as quiet as him, but I like to drive and be in my thoughts and kind of try to figure it out.
Did he ever become jaded as a sports writer after having seen so much sport, so many things behind the scenes, so many locker rooms, knowing stories that he probably would never have written or been able to even share?
No, because I think his personal life growing up, his childhood was so rough. Like it was his break. It was his way to depart from reality. He enjoyed every second of it.
So when you talk about building programs, are you in Stockton forever? Are you at Lincoln forever? Or are you needing a new challenge every 7 years?
No, I don't even like to think about that. I don't ever go into a situation like this is a 5-year stop and I'm gonna change. Honestly, a lot of the reason why I've moved the way I have has never been because anything to do with basketball is so much it is. Bear Creek, I wanted a teaching job, and they couldn't guarantee me a teaching job. Although the football team had 10 people on staff, they're above 500, and I'm taking them to a NorCal. So then it's like, at that point in time, sometimes you don't feel like your value's really respected over there. So.
Are you a teacher more than a coach more than a teacher? Are they the same thing in your world?
I
Are
think
you teaching math and teaching basketball? Or
I'm substitute teaching. No, I think it's different. Yeah. I think it's different. Your approach is different because you're not coaching a game, so you're more patient in a classroom.
Right.
Where a game is, you got to win now.
You enjoy the ticking clock of it all?
I think I don't want to say yes, but I think I do because I keep running back to it. So I think when you think about that part of it, it can be stressful. But I keep running to it so obviously I do it. I guess I do enjoy it.
For families trying to figure out how to navigate this very complex world of sports in high school right now, what insight do you give them about, are you looking for somebody who can create his own shot or somebody who fits in your system or other?
I think the biggest thing, honestly, in basketball, in any sport actually, is finding what you're great at. Greatness is, the sad part is especially in basketball, it tends to be graded on how well you score. But I think, these are memories, right? Like at the end of it, on senior night, everything is about what they do with their team. These trips right here, coming from Stockton all the way down here.
3-4 hour trip.
Exactly. The dinner, the hangout time.
Yeah.
The games are fun. They love to play the game, but it's all about, creating memories. So for this to be a great experience, knowing your role, because everybody wants to feel productive in life. So, your production, if I try to be 6'10", at 6'2", I'm never going to be happy with my life. But if I know what I'm capable of doing and I'm okay with that, and I be the best version of myself, I'm bringing something to the team, and I play a huge role in that success. And I think that's the biggest thing is, like, I think we all want our kid to be LeBron James or be Michael Jordan or be all that. But I think at the end of it, everybody has a gift, and so you being able to maximize your gift, you'll get more out of life that way.
One step at a time, one game at a time, finding who you are and expressing that as best possible.
Do you like sports?
A little bit, yeah.
But you're not a coach, so you're doing podcasts, you're doing big things. You recognize what you could bring to the table, and we all have something.
I thought you were recruiting me. I thought it was going to be like a 21 Jump Street with basketball situation, which I could shave. I could put some hair color in my hair, cut a few pounds.
We need somebody to throw some bodies around.
Actually, I have to tell you, Coach, with all due respect, I would like to shoot a 35-footer three. That's all. You'd need me out beyond the 3-point line.
Okay, I got you.
All right, sounds good. I think we know our next podcast. It'll be an undercover thing. We'll do a whole season of it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you the best. You've said you've coached 4 games today.
Mm-hmm.
How many more do you have?
2, and then 4 tomorrow.
The James Brown of coaching, Anthony Matthews, who's the hardest working man in showbiz. Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Great time. Thank you so much.